Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker, your host of That Girl the Podcast. I'm an author, performer, 2-time Emmy Award winner, human relationship specialist, and founder of the wellness website loveyouevenmore.com. Each week I bring on inspiring people and experts in their field to have powerful, motivational, and enlightened conversations about relationships, self-development, and how you can live your most authentic life. Follow us for daily updates on myself and the podcast at That Girl the Podcast and at Jackie Brubaker on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and our Patreon page. While you're at it, make sure to check out my new wellness website, loveyouevenmore.com. If you're wanting to dig into developing more self-worth, be healthier about relationships, and learn how to date smarter, go to loveyouevenmore.com and follow us on Instagram at loveyouevenmore. Hey guys, and welcome to That Girl the Podcast. I'm your host, Jackie Brubaker. Welcome to 2022. This is the first episode of 2022, and I wanted to do another solo podcast, which is going to be a theme this year. I will still have amazing guests and amazing topics, but I've decided to do a few more solo podcasts. So starting off the year with another solo podcast, back to back, we are going to talk about ways to live our most authentic life in 2022. And also, I really want to dive into not having tons of expectation put on yourself because of resolutions. We're in January. We have all of this, excitement. We want to start everything right. We want to do everything perfect. We want to lose all our Christmas weight, like all of the things. So we're going to get into that and how to do that safely, happily, and with actual good expectations. But before we get into that, I want to thank everyone who has supported That Girl the Podcast for its very first year, because it is hitting its very first year. It did on January 1st. What a fun way to start. And it was so exciting to actually hit 90,000 downloads for our very first year. For those of you who don't know, this is an independent podcast. I'm not with some media corporation. I don't have sponsors. I mean, I do now all of a sudden. Yes, I finally do. Finally made it. But this has been completely independently run by myself. I am the engineer, I'm the producer, I'm the host, I am the curator, I am the everything. And this was just my little baby that I thought I'd put out into the world a year ago. And it's really turned into something so much bigger than I ever thought it would. And it's still growing and just becoming awesome. So that is in part due to you. And I am just so grateful for my listeners and supporters, and there's so much good stuff coming for this year. So many great guests, so many great topics, new ways to connect with the podcast, with me, with extra footage. Our Patreon page is really going to be a huge hub of where That Girl the Podcast lives, with extra footage and extra interviews, just all kinds of things, Q&As, all kinds of things. Merch. I'm going to come out with merch this year, so y'all can have your That Girl mug, because I know I want one. I want a That Girl mug, and I want a That Girl water bottle. So it's very exciting, but this is really due in part to you, and thank you so much for supporting. So let's talk about how you can live your most authentic life in 2022. So we are in the new year. We have started the resolutions. We have started the weight loss. We have started the to-do list of things we want to do this year. And before we jump into that, before we get into the podcast one more time, but this is part of the podcast. For those of you who might be sitting there on, day 5 of January thinking, I feel really overwhelmed. I am tired. I feel fat. I don't want to do any of those things that I said I was going to do. I just want to sit here and just feel like exhausted. You know what? I want to tell you, you're not alone. I had a major crying freak out moment on the 2nd. I just woke up on January 2nd and was like, I just feel incredibly overwhelmed with, and I don't even have that big of New Year's resolutions or not even resolutions, but goals I want to hit this year. Like, I'll tell you my goals. My goals are to be better with making actual dough, like for pies and dumplings and just making dough bread. I want to be better at making dough. And I also want to really work the quote dough / money in my life and, invest better and have, my investments working better for me and just like learn more about how to better invest my money. So I want to work with dough this year. So those are my resolutions. I want to incorporate all kinds of things like this. And these are actually very easy things to do. And I was like, oh, cool. I'll just start, January 2nd, I'll just start and start getting all of that stuff together. And while I did get to make some dough over the Christmas season, which was exciting, the other dough making things like investments just felt super overwhelming all of a sudden. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. Should I just start this or should I take a shower? Like it was kind of that sort of standstill. So if you are feeling this right now, I want you to just relax and just take a breath and recover from the holidays. We all feel yucky. We all feel tired. I did go on a hike on the first day of January, but that's just because that's something I like to do and that's a normal thing for me to do. But don't go force yourself to do something strenuous, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically, just because it's the first of the year. Technically, it's just another day. So if you're feeling a little I'm scared to do any of these resolutions, I feel overwhelmed, just chill out right now until you're feeling better. Okay, let's get into the actual list of how to live a more authentic life this year. So first of all, I want you to think about last year, and I want you to think of one thing that you're really proud of, one thing that you did. It doesn't have to be big, you guys. It could just be anything. It could be, I volunteered for the first time, I showed up when I was scared too. Just one thing that you're proud of that you did, and it doesn't have to be this award-winning kind of thing. It just has to be something that really made you feel like, wow, I'm really proud of myself and I did something important. So I want you to think of that because when we think about all the things we want to achieve, a lot of the times we kind of forget about or sort of almost devalue the things that we have done. And I have a best friend, Stephanie Hamato. She comes on all the time for the podcast, and she's always talking about celebrating your wins. And a lot of times we just forget or take for granted our wins. So with last year, think about the time or times that you were proud of yourself for something that you did so that you can go into this next year thinking, you know what, I did some really cool stuff last year and I'm really proud of myself. This year, I know I will do it whenever it comes, whenever it shows up, whenever I have the time. The moment really is given to me to be proud of myself and to rise up. It's going to come. Okay, number 2, I want you to think of one mistake you made and the lesson that you learned from it from last year. We all make mistakes, whether they're big or small. And hopefully we can sit back and be like, yep, probably shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't have said that. Probably shouldn't have felt that, whatever the mistake is, even if it's just one, even if that's the only mistake you can handle right now, to just take responsibility for it and figure out why you decided to do it. Why did the mistake happen? Maybe you didn't even know it was going to happen. Maybe you fell into it. You were manipulated. It happened, out of your control. But looking back, maybe you feel a lot of guilt, like, oh, I should have known better. I really do want to just say, if you were manipulated, that everyone is gullible. There's no person who isn't susceptible to manipulation. It isn't like I'm smarter than that. Nope, you're not. Because being manipulated has no intelligence, rating. You don't not get manipulated because you're, really, really smart like everybody does. It's an emotional thing. So I just want to put that out there. But think of a mistake that you made and, maybe it was that you just didn't have all of the information in a situation and you got mad at someone for something that, you didn't have all the information or all the truth of the matter or, whatever it is, you know what it is. So think about a mistake that you made. Think of the lesson that you learned and keep that in mind because we're always going to make mistakes. And I always say, I want you guys to be kind to yourself. Please be kind to yourself. We are just learning. We are growing. Everyone is just trying to do their best and they're trying to get their lessons. The problem is when we don't get our lessons and we keep having them served to us over and over and over again. So with trying to have less dharma and less mistakes made, let's definitely find a mistake and what we learned from it last year and how we can obviously try not to make that mistake again. Number 3, I want you to think of your happiest moment of last year. Again, this goes into sort of, what are you proud of, right? What was your happiest moment? And it could have been something really simple. You could have gone sledding and just laughed your ass off and had so much fun with your family, or you could have just found a lot of happiness watching Bridgerton, like whatever, but a truly happy moment of your life last year. Again, I never think that our happiest moments are usually material based. It's not like, oh, I got this amazing car and it made me so happy. Sure, I'm sure it did, but like genuinely deep down. And that's not to diminish, if you really wanted this car and you've like saved up for it and you worked really hard for it, like sure, you're going to be happy. That's your happiest moment. Maybe it is. But I've been thinking a lot about, what really makes us happy. And for me, they're experiences with other people or sometimes just alone. But they're experiences and you remember that memory and it makes you even happy now to remember it. So think of your happiest moments because there will be other happy moments this year. Think of something that you were doing last year that you want to bring into this year, which is again to say like, just because we went into a new year doesn't mean like everything has to shift and it's going to change. And if you're ready for something to shift and change in a big way, you were ready already. It just happened to be a different calendar year. So think of something that you're doing that you were doing in the past year or even many years that you want to continue to bring in to 2022. Because I think it's a really good way for us to validate the stuff that we're doing right. Like life isn't always about what we're doing wrong. It's a lot about what we're doing right. We're trying to learn and evolve and grow. And so think of the things that are working for you and that you want to bring into this next year. Okay. Think of something you want to learn in this year. I already told you mine. I want to get better at learning how to manage money and invest money. And I want to get better at actually making dough, like for pies. And I also really, I love speaking French and I want to just work on my French so much more because I want to be more conversational with it. So I could actually speak to people and not feel embarrassed. So think of something you want to do that you want to learn this year. And it could be something small, it could be something huge. It just has to be something that feels right to you, but it also has to feel like something that's doable. That's the big thing. I really want you guys to focus on things that are very doable, manifestable. We'll get more into that later. But think of something you want to learn this year. And, well, we're at the end of the list. This is a short podcast. I guess I just talked a lot. Well, perfect. So I want you to make a list of things you want to accomplish this year that are doable. So when we think of our resolutions, it's so much fun. And listen, I am such a manifester. I love to sit there and think about what I want to manifest. But a lot of the times we can get caught up in wanting to manifest the big stuff that might take more than a year to find us, right? Or more than a few months. It's going to take multiple years. So if you have those big things you want to manifest that you want to bring into your year, think of realistic timelines, right? So that's why I'm saying, think of the things that are doable for your resolutions right now. So if you have, for me, it's okay, yeah, the learning how to invest my money, I can actually learn how to do that within the next couple of months or less. I have people that can help. I can go take courses. I can talk to my accountant, blah, blah, blah. People who are already investing in a really good way. I can go do that right now. That's very doable. And what's nice about that is that it's a check mark that is easily attained quickly. I also just booked a trip to Maui for this year. Yay! And it was great because one of my oldest friends and I were talking on January 1st. We're like, we've always wanted to travel somewhere. Let's go to Maui. And I was like, great, start looking. She travels all the time, so she really knows how to find the deals. I'm like, start looking for flights for us. If you find something, show it to me, send it to me, let's just book. And she did the next day, and we booked our flight to Maui. So think of things that you can actually do now that will, be in the future of this year. Stuff that is doable, that is manageable. And then again, for the big stuff, like things that I'm thinking about for, managing or manifesting in the future may take more than 1 year. So what are the things that are doable to help me get in that direction and get those sort of check marks towards accomplishing those things? So think of what it is for you that actually is a big thing you want to manifest. It's a big thing you want to call in. And can you do it in this year? Can it actually be accomplished in a year, or is it going to take longer? But then also think of those doable things. You're like, yep, you know what? I do want to go to Hawaii. I do want to go to Paris. Let me book the flight. Let me figure this out, and give yourself something to look forward to, because it's the doable things. Like learning French better is something I can absolutely start doing right now at my home and on my phone as I'm out and about. So think of things that are doable. But mainly with this year, it's a brand new year. It's a fresh start. If you're ready to have a fresh start, have it. Don't let anything or anyone, especially old stories in your head. You know what? Here's a bonus one. If you have a story that you're ready to let go of right now, let it go. Let it go. Maybe it's someone that you used to be from the past. Maybe you're thinking about people you haven't seen in forever and how they might judge you, or think you're still that person from the past. Whatever the story is that isn't real or true anymore, it's really time to let it go. And this is a great time to finally let go of that story if you're ready. This is the time to start afresh. Is that a word? Afresh? Anew. It's time to start fresh. Time to start anew, and give yourself the opportunity to do it by taking smaller steps that will eventually lead into big steps. Just don't, for instance, I have a friend who got me into making these letters, writing these letters to myself on the first day of each year. And you have to address it to yourself from a year from now. So you write down hypothetically everything that you've manifested in this year, and then you're supposed to open it up the next year to see if anything has actually come true. And so I've done this before. And I remembered about that list on, I think it was the first or the second, and I went and got it and read it. And it was interesting because some of it actually had come true that I wasn't expecting with the podcast. But a lot of it was so far-fetched and so just far down the line that even if I had worked so hard and had every single synchronicity happen, that was a big ask, a big manifestation. And I was like, I'm probably not going to make a list again, because again, you want to pick things that are doable, that you can actually see your progress. Because a lot of the times it's if you're trying to be something like an actor, or, in my case, I'm trying to do Broadway and get back into that world, it's tough. It takes time, as much as I'd love to manifest something happening in a year, and I'm not trying to put myself down or my manifesting skills down, because they're strong. They are strong. But sometimes you've just got to be realistic with where you're at and where, your life is. It just takes time. So anyway, I'm sure there are people who could argue that with me, because manifesting is about feeling, and it can take as long as you think it's going to take or as short as you think it's going to take. But again, there are other moving parts and other moving people that have to catch up to you too. That's why a lot of people, I'm going to say this in general for myself, when you're yeah, you know what, I'm so ready for a relationship. Why haven't I met that person? Maybe that person isn't ready to meet you. I mean, it really could be just that simple. And I tend to feel that is the case for me, as it might be for you as well. So this year, take a chance, do things that are doable, create a checklist that you can actually check off, and by the end of the year, be really proud of yourself and accomplished, and have some fun, because it's a great world out there. There's so many things that you can do. Say yes to some stuff. Don't be afraid, all that stuff. And thank you guys for being such a supportive audience through this first year of That Girl the Podcast, for subscribing and sharing and commenting and downloading and all of the things. Again, our Patreon is going to be huge this year. It's going to be a huge part of where you find a lot of our content. If you're really loving the podcast, you're going to find even more. And make sure to subscribe to the podcast everywhere you get your podcasts. It's also on YouTube if you'd prefer to watch it. Some people aren't into podcasts, but they'll go to YouTube and watch the videos, or just listen to the videos as they're driving. I do that. I've done that with comedy specials. So definitely spread the word, keep it going, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. And I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. Remember, sharing is caring. Make sure to rate the podcast and leave a review. We really rely on this to help get the podcast out there. Also, make sure to watch the video version on YouTube at That Girl the Podcast.